Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Happy Friday, folks. BJ Rains, Jay Tust with you. Another edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com, coming from the Cutwater Spirits mobile studios. Got the banner right there. Going to need a couple of Cutwaters after we're done with spring ball here, Jay, and finally get a chance to decompress after another, 8-9 month grind, starting with media days last July. You go football camp, football season, overlaps with basketball season. Then you got basketball season, then it overlaps with football spring practice. And now tomorrow we reach the unofficial end of another year of Boise State Athletics football and basketball coverage. You got softball going on, you got golf, you got some other sports that we'll continue to cover both on KTVB and Bronco Nation News. I know softball had a big win last night. They're 5-1 in conference play now. But so we'll still have a lot. I think next week we're going to try to get Justin Schultz on one of our shows next Friday maybe. But we'll a lot to go. But in terms of football, Jay, I guess I'll have another practice technically on Monday or Tuesday, but to kind of wrap up and walk through some things from the spring game. But spring game tomorrow, the unofficial end, and Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB, is here to help us break it all down and preview what's to come tomorrow. What's up, Jay?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Big Friday in the Tust household. Collins turns 3 today. So we're stoked about that. We were up late last night and blowing up balloons. That's kind of the birthday tradition. She might swing by later in the show, so that should be a little bit fun.
Yes, but I'd rather see her than hear from us anyway.
Amen. But yeah, big spring game tomorrow for sure.
I'm looking forward to the new scoreboard. I know there's a lot of storylines and things. We saw the little video Boise State put out, but and not necessarily just like the crispness of it or the screen, but just the look and feel of what it does to that end of the stadium and how it kind of closes things in. I think a lot of fans are excited. It's been a long process that people thought would be done for last football season, but in some capacity, they're finally going to unveil that thing tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not going to have all the bells and whistles. And I mean, probably the biggest thing is just kind of like the aesthetic presentation of the scoreboard. You know, by the time football season rolls around, you assume that it's going to have a nice wrap around it, probably a big, something cool on the back side of it so you can see it as you drive down University or even Broadway. So, it'll definitely be much more of a finished product by the time Boise State, hosts their season opener or home opener, I should say, against UCF in the fall. But I agree with you, BJ. Just kind of seeing that monitor on, seeing how fans react to it, seeing how, just kind of looks. And it won't have all the bells and whistles, but they do plan to utilize it with video and things like that. So, it'll be cool to see them flip that thing on and just kind of see what it looks like.
1:30 is the spring game tomorrow, folks. Free admission, I believe. Come on out, check out the football team tomorrow in their final public appearance, I guess, or their one public appearance of the spring before they put the pads on the shelf until August. We will be doing a post post-game show, so to speak, over at the James. Jay, you're welcome to stop by. I know you'll be busy on Saturday, but we're hoping Johnny and Prater and anyone that's available will come on by. Winston, I believe they're actually doing some sort of alumni football thing over at the James, so we'll see what former players are there and want to stop by. But going to have a live show from the James after the spring game. So anyone that's heading to the spring game wants to come over, hopefully it'll be warm enough. We can be out on the patio, and we'll kind of break down what we saw and what's to come for the football team heading into the summer. And Jay, I know there's a lot of interesting storylines, and for the football diehards, they could look at every position and find some sort of storyline, some sort of player to watch. But I think the obvious guy that all eyes will be on tomorrow is Jonah Dalmas, the kicker. No, I'm just kidding. Talon Green, the quarterback. And I think there will be some the special teams will always have, folks' eyes. And like I said, you could pick every position somebody. But Talon Green and his development and his ascension to QB1, I think a lot of people are excited to see his progress tomorrow.
I agree, and we've heard a little bit about his progress and what he's been doing this spring, and so much of it is around his leadership and finding his voice and taking command and things like that. And when we were talking to him the other day, BJ, I couldn't help but think like how different this time was for him last year. And I know that coaches kind of say, oh no, every job's open, everybody's competing and all that stuff, but quarterback is like kind of an interesting one when you're competing, because if you're not the guy, there's just going to be limitations on, what you feel you can do and how involved and how vocal you can be, because you probably don't want to overstep your boundaries and try to, overshadow the one that just might create, in all honesty, it might create a little confusion. And so you can be aggressive and improve and all that stuff, but all of a sudden when you really get to firmly cement yourself into that QB1 role, everything's fair game. I mean, you can correct, you can critique, you can do that for anybody on the field pretty much, because that is a position of status. It's a position of leadership. And the cool thing about it, man, is it seems like Talon's just ready for it. Like, it feels like he's ready to embrace it. And again, he's told us he's kind of finding his voice, and Bush Hamden has really pushed him to be a little more vocal. But talking with him the other day, man, he's just a charismatic kid that seems to really be enjoying this spring ball.
I said in the pre-show meeting about 7:30 this morning, Jay, don't exactly say the clip I'm going to play before I play it. But Talon Green talking about communication, talking about Bush Hamden. Let's hear more on what he had to say there.
Definitely the communication piece. He said like in the start of spring, I was way too quiet in that, and just being more vocal and just letting the bass drop in my voice, and just letting everybody hear me, and just we call it winning the pre-snap, taking everything little by little, whether it's the front, whether it's knowing the defenses, knowing what are my alerts, and just knowing the little things that go apart play by play.
Has that been something for you that maybe in your career has been? Are you more of a quieter guy in terms of being a leader on the field? And Jay was talking about, when you're the backup, maybe it's not your spot to say anything. And last year in the middle of the season, you're thrown into the fire. But now that it's your team, I guess, is that something you are having to work on? Yeah,
I definitely, just being the quarterback, just gotta step into that role. I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm a quiet guy, but I'm not like really like always, you're not going to hear me like, hey, you're not going to hear me like that. So just really stepping in and just finding my voice and finding how my teammates respond to encouragement, respond to just like me getting onto them, and just finding that out. And that's what I'm excited about. I have a whole season to figure that out with me and my teammates. And they know how to encourage me, because we call it, it's a two-way street, Ashton, like, encourages me and I encourage him, and it's a two-way street, like I said, and it goes for the offense, it goes for the defense, like Rod, he always be talking trash, and so it's always just going back and forth. So that's what I'm excited about.
By the way, Rod was talking trash about picking off Talon Green one time this spring. We should have asked Talon how many times he's burned Rod during practice as well. Maybe we would have given him the last laugh there. But First of all, Taylon Green, I talked about it with Prater yesterday, Jay. I think he continues to, in these media sessions, this is the second or third one he's done now, very well-spoken, saying the right thing. He was joking around with us before. I think he's getting more comfortable, and I think he's a great spokesman for the team, and it does kind of make you wonder why it took to this point for them to let him start talking. I think that the communication thing was funny, and in particular, like lowering his voice, like not just yelling at guys, like yell at it with a deep low, like actually practicing like how to speak up and not, with a low, firm voice. I thought that part of it was funny, but you got it. The quarterback has to be a vocal guy, and I know that probably does take some time, like you said, where when you're the number 2, you can't really say anything. You're getting your feet wet in the middle of the season. You're walking into that huddle with all the starters, in game 5 or whatever it was when he took over, and you're kind of like, okay, it's his team, but you're still kind of out of, you still kind of feel like you're the odd man out, I guess, so to speak. But once you go into the offseason, it's your team, and now going into his first full year as the starter, he's really working on that leadership and communication piece.
Yeah, BJ, I couldn't agree more.
I was going to try that, and I didn't want. I was like, you know what, I'll let that go. But that is funny. Like that's literally part of their conversation is not just speaking up, but speak up with a lower, deeper voice.
Yeah, Taylon's going to be one of these interesting athletes, right? Because there were times last year where he wasn't really running as much, and it was like, why isn't he running more? And then there was times last year where he was running a lot, and it was like, is he running too much? So either way, that's going to be something that he's just going to have to deal with and probably have to turn off outside noise, because really at the end of the day, none of that outside noise matters. But it is interesting to hear him talk about how he's kind of growing. And I think Bush Hamden said it, and you brought it up. And the goal is to use, not abuse, your ability to leave the pocket and run. And that's something that Taylon told us the other day is certainly something he wants to work on and make sure that he stays in until he has to leave, right? And don't leave before you have to leave, because at that point in time, you're trusting your offensive line, you're trusting your tight ends, you're trusting your wide receivers, you're trusting your running backs. And those are the guys that you want to get the ball to, because those are, I don't want to say those are your playmakers, because Taylon's a playmaker, but that's how you want to move the ball, and you want to remove your quarterback maybe from harm's way, if you will, which includes leaving the pocket and maybe taking on linebackers and things like that. So it's just going to be really intriguing to see how this develops. And I mean, in all honesty, BJ, we're going to get a very small taste of this at the spring scrimmage. I mean, who knows if it's even going to be enough to really see anything, because coaches don't love to probably show a lot in the to the public or anybody that could be present. So that's why a separate argument for a separate day, maybe what Hugh Freeze was bringing up at Alabama, it would be cool to see one spring scrimmage where you rotate in a ton of bodies. And I think there's great potential there. And even Jeremiah Dickey kind of questioned that on Twitter, like, what do fans think about this? It feels like it has awesome potential. I don't think you're definitely going to have to set limitations on it, because you don't want, once you get one game, what if we get 2 games? Like you gotta. That's not. Then I think that you're not having the best interest of a student athlete at heart. But if you get one spring scrimmage, exhibition style against another team at the end of your spring camp, I think that's really intriguing. And there's a lot of options of how you can make that a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were Winston Venable and I were talking about that on Wednesday when that kind of just popped up, and you could go the simply like have them play C of I or somebody like that, just anybody in a different uniform, or you could make it an Idaho State or an Idaho or something. Yeah. But I guarantee you there'd be Alabama versus Texas or something too. There'd be 90,000 people at Texas Stadium. If you as big as you wanted to make it, it would get that big. And maybe, they do it in basketball now, some where you can donate the money to charity if you have the Division I versus Division I exhibition. So maybe they can put some charity involvement into it as well. But would people be more excited tomorrow if they were playing Idaho State than themselves?
1,000%.
I think probably so. Yeah. I certainly think so. And, is that the way they finally get to play Idaho in an exhibition that doesn't mean anything? Maybe. I don't know. But what if it was a yearly thing? You just put, the problem is Idaho would probably, how serious do the teams take it? Is Idaho willing to run whatever base stuff Boise State wants so they can get the practice and vice versa? And are you really keeping score? Is it a full game? Is it just situational stuff, kind of like an NFL, practice during fall camp? There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but I think there is potentially, some value there. But other than, Andrew Harris says, looking forward to tomorrow's spring game photo op on the blue. Excited to see the new board up close. Other than Talon Green and the video board, which may go hand in hand, kind of the star player on the video board, what else are you looking for tomorrow? Your mom says, I think people are underestimating the wide receivers. Also says Genty will pop off. And then Bill's asking about some breakout players. What else is Jay Tust, eyes going to be focusing on tomorrow, wanting to see at the spring game?
A position that we'll be paying attention to up to and through the season opener is this rebuilt defensive line. Unfortunately, I don't know how much of that we're really going to be able to evaluate tomorrow in an inter-squad spring scrimmage, because I just don't know how much we're going to be able to evaluate there. The name that actually just popped up on your screen is actually pretty intriguing. Prince, he was a guy that essentially gray shirted last year. He's now on campus. I don't want to go too far overboard here and say this is the guy that's going to lead the team in receptions or something like that. That's not what I'm implying here. But you look at his physical presence at practice, you immediately grab the roster when you see him and you go, "Who's this guy? Oh, dang, that's Prince." He's a pretty big body dude, and I don't necessarily think the receivers are underrated, man. I think that they got a stacked receiver room. I think that's something that's really going to help Talon this year. Not only is it the talent, but it's the continuity. Talon spent some time with Billy Bowen, Steph Cobbs, Latrell Caples. The list goes on, and that is a really, really deep room. And there are going to be a lot of guys fighting for snaps and playing time to get on the field. That might be. We looked at corner and safety last year where we felt like those positions were pretty deep. I think receiver might be the deepest position on the team this year, BJ.
Yeah, believe it or not, earlier this morning, I was already putting just kind of my first rough draft together of my 25 most important players list going into the summer for our off-season series, kind of to help us get through the summer. And I have a couple of receivers on here, but I was actually wrestling a little bit with the order of them. Latrell Caples, Steph Cobbs, Billy Bowens. How do you rank those guys in terms of their importance to the team? What Cobbs brings on special teams puts him up there as well. But you mentioned guys like Prince, who we've heard a ton about, and I don't think he makes this list. But if there was a list for, if there was a list for names we heard the most in the spring, you'd have, the all spring team. You'd have Amari and McCoy. You'd have Prince on there. There's some other guys that have stepped up. Braxton Feely, I think, would be on that list. And as you're talking about, some of that is just so many guys are out injured that these guys are forced into bigger roles than they've had, and they're taking advantage of it. But like a guy like we were just talking about him, not my name up at running back. Not the main two running backs. Our friend from our local friend here,
Tyler Crow.
Yeah, Tyler Crow is probably going to lead the team in carries tomorrow, and wouldn't surprise me if he's like the offensive guy they give us after the game because he rushed for 80 yards. Because I think you get Ashton Genty in there for 3 or 4 carries and get him out. I would be surprised if Ashton Genty has any kind of role in this game because you just don't need it. You don't need the risk of injury for Ashton Genty. You don't need to see him. You've seen him all spring. You know what he can do. I don't think Jordan Lonnie's doing anything. So for me. Let Ethan Makita and Crow and these guys have all those carries tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say it probably goes without saying, but don't expect to see much of anything from George tomorrow. At least I feel like that's going to be the case. I'm not exactly positive, but I'm pretty sure there.
By the way, your mom says sorry for my name. I was 8, so I wonder if that was how long ago that was made. But
I was going to say, hearing you read the name, well, your mom says. My mom's an angel, man. She's coming to town today. Back off.
Awesome. She's going to be here for the birthday festivities.
For the birthday party, big Elsa birthday party tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah. I tell you one thing that you want to talk about intrigue. I guess I think that seeing Daishan Misa and Andrew Simpson line up next to each other could be kind of cool. Obviously, DJ Schramm is going to be the heart of that defense this year. It would be nice if he didn't have to necessarily play as many snaps as he did last year at times. That guy, you had to drag him off the field at times last season. So DJ is no doubt the present, but in the future, Daishan and Andrew are a really, really intriguing combo. I think sky's the limit for Andrew, and Misa, like coming out of high school, was a recruit that I would say arguably one of the biggest, but I don't even think you need to argue it. One of the biggest in school history in terms of his stars and things like that. So they're really, really high on him, and I can't wait to see what he looks like when he gets some significant playing time. You look at his physical presence, and man, he pops for sure. And so that could be kind of a fun thing to watch those guys work together tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's a lot of even though there's a lot of guys out, I still think there's a lot of guys that are like I said, expected to have bigger roles next season. That you're going to look around and see no JL Skinner and no Tyreek Jones and no Scott Matlock, and you can start to see some of the names of guys that'll get opportunities for bigger roles next year. By the way, believe it or not, I got it into my top 5, Jay. Maybe this is a discussion for another day, but Ashton Jeanty versus George Halani in terms of most important to this team. Ashton Jeanty versus George Halani next season, there's actually a debate there for me. I'll probably lean George just because of his experience and his veteran-ness, but based on his health in the past and just based on what Ashton Jeanty brings to the team, I think it's a lot closer. And no disrespect to George Halani, but I think Ashton Jeanty's expected increase in carries and his role and just what his ability at number 2 does to maybe keep George fresh. I think you could make a strong case that Ashton Jeanty is just as important, if not slightly more than George Halani. So I'll probably lean Halani for just because of his track record and what he's done. But I think those two are going to be like number 3 and number 4 probably on the list, or top 5, both of them. You got two running backs, top 5, along with your quarterback. I mean, it's going to be a fun offseason, I guess, to discuss some of that stuff. But I do want to talk a little bit. Any final spring game thoughts before we go basketball, Jay?
No, man, what a luxury, though. I'm not going to argue with you. I would say George is more important, but if Ashton's going to be really, really important.
George is higher on my list right now, and I think it's going to stay that way, but it's like 1A and 1B. Like Ashton Jeanty, I think, and maybe we're getting a little too much prisoner of the moment based on what he did in the bowl game.
I don't think so, man. I don't think you're wrong there, and I don't know if I've ever been able to have this type of argument about the Boise State running back position since I've covered the team. They've always kind of had that clear-cut one. And this is a really good position to be in if you're the Broncos.
And then you're going to have, Breezy Dubar coming in, and maybe we're going to have Jeanty and Dubar in this conversation a year from now. Who knows? But let's talk basketball for the final 7 minutes here. I am behind Jay a little bit on our sponsors, so I want to thank Cutwater Spirits and the Cutwater Spirits Mobile Studios. More than 30 flavors of premixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. And Jay, I am pleased to announce we have agreed to a new 1-year deal with Cutwater Spirits. So we have the Cutwater Spirits Studios will be remaining for the next year, thanks to Stein Distributing and Cutwater Spirits for their continued support of Bronco Nation News. Rowpaint.com, you looking for that new concrete coating for your back patio, your garage, your basement? Now's the perfect time to schedule out for the spring. It's 5 times stronger than epoxy. The 1-day install in 24 hours, it's completely done, and it's transformational. So check it out at rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, they're going to be giving Jay Tust that new Ford Bronco Sport for his hole-in-one at the golf tournament. Jay is literally going to just make the shot and drive it right off the tee shot and just skip the rest of the tournament. LithiaFordBoise.com. Get their full inventory of vehicles. They will buy your used car as well. They'll make you a cash offer on the spot from the appraiser, and they are, as I said, providing the prize for the hole-in-one, a new Ford Bronco Sport at the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. More than 500,000 Idahoans have made the switch. You can too, ICCU.com. Get more information. Find a location near you. The best in mobile e-branch online banking. You go in once. You never have to go back in. You can do it all from your phone. We were depositing some checks last night. It's very easy to do from your phone, your computer, ICCU.com. You looking for a new job? How about Transportation Compliance Service? They can get you into the trucking industry, whether it's the big rig on your screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, all the permits, things you need to get out there towing that first load. Check them out, TCS, transcomservice.com. And the Blue and Orange Store, if you need some last-minute gear for the spring game tomorrow, check them out, the Blue and Orange Store. KTVB.com. If you're not in the area, you can get free shipping, any order over $40. But if you are in the Treasure Valley, head on over to the Boise Town Square Mall today. They got some great deals going on for the sideline apparel for the coaches, all the NIL shirts, all that good stuff. The blue and orange store there on the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. Jay, I had a video I was going to play real quick, and I did a horrible job of segueing. Here's a 21-second video.
What's up, y'all? It's RJ Keen and Tyson Degenhart. We'll be coming out here at Timberstone June 2nd for the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. We're trying to raise money for the Idaho Sports Commission, and we want y'all to have a fun day of golf. It's going to be beautiful weather and great people. Some of our coaches are going to be there, too, special guests. For more information, sign up for BroncoNationNews.com, and we'll have a great time. See you there.
Now, they promised the good weather. I'm not sure we can fully say that, but they did promise good weather. But looking forward to it, Jay. And we're actually talking to a couple of football players as well about coming out for the afternoon session. More details to come on our special guest. But looking like Jay's going to be out there again, and should be a lot of fun, Jay.
One of the best days of the summer last year. It was a blast. Just don't pair me with Keen, man. That'd be too long of a day.
I was thinking about some sort of like one whole tournament for all the celebrities, either at the end or the beginning or something. I was kind of thinking about that because we do have a lot of guys that like to talk trash, whether it be Mike Burns or Tim Duryea or Degenhart or Keen, some other big announcements on guys to come as well. So I thought maybe we could have some sort of, maybe it's a putting contest or just something where we can get Jay Tust out there competing against some of your favorite players and coaches. Can you take them in long drive at least? Long drive at least? Could you outdrive some of those guys?
I mean, definitely Keen. I don't know about Tyson. Definitely Keen though, for sure.
We'll have to work on that, but it's going to be a fun day. We really enjoyed it last year. We are running out of spots though, so if you want in, jump in now. We have the afternoon flight open, so if you want to work a half day in the morning and then come out in the afternoon, we got Chef Wally, Just Cater. It's going to be providing lunch again. We're going to be sprucing up the menu a little bit too. It's going to be a lot of fun. Johnny and Prater will be out there broadcasting their show as well. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you. We got a couple whole sponsorships left, and it's going to be fun. BroncoNationNews.com. Click on the golf tab for more information. Final minute or two here, Jay. Wanted to talk basketball. We got Cam Martin in the fold now for Boise State. Another visitor this weekend. And I'm not trying to like be cryptic and I just don't want to say and all this, but like sometimes you know how it works in this business, Jay. Others don't, but like you get information only if you promise you won't say anything. So sometimes it's just the way it works. You get something told to you, but to be ready, but you can't say it, and so it's not like we're trying to deceive or like purposely like keep stuff just to I know and you guys don't. I mean, it's not. It's just the way it works. I either wouldn't know or I'd know, but I can't say anything. And they do have another visitor from a Power 6 basketball school visiting starting today, I believe. So we need our folks with the cameras out there at the Hall of Fame or around town to be trying to get some work on the camera in terms of who it might be. It's a 6'8" player that's got some playing time, some experience, Jay. Maybe not the 7-footer some folks are wanting, but I think it'd be another solid contributor. But, they had Anderson, got Cam Martin, and they're not done. They're still trying to use that last scholarship and maybe more than that. But the roster is starting to come together here.
We kind of implied that a little bit last week there, BJ, where obviously they have one more scholarship, and it'll be interesting once they find that fit, which they've certainly narrowed it down to, it seems like a guy that could, contribute immediately. And if they bring in a player like that, how does that impact the rest of the roster? Could there be one more guy to leave? And I think that's, probably a thing that's very possible. And we'll just have to kind of sit, wait, and see. But next week, these things usually kind of come out early in the week after guys have been on campus visiting. That happened with Roddy Anderson. That happened with Cam Martin. And so maybe for the third week in a row, it could happen again. And this is definitely a chance for Boise State to immediately impact and upgrade their roster, both in terms of the starting lineup, but obviously depth, which has been a huge area of concern for Leon Rice and the Boise State men's basketball team. And if they go out and they do what they're intending to do right now, we won't be talking about 5 guys playing, 38 minutes a game next season, which would be an awesome addition. Another thing too, BJ. I mean, they're bringing in guys that, Cam Martin's a guy that we figure is going to start at the 5, and I think that's very, very likely. But they're bringing in competition as well. I mean, this isn't a guy that you just think you're going to stash on the bench and develop. This is not that type of situation. There are guys that are going to come in and make this team a lot better.
Yep, no doubt. And I can't wait till next week, potentially, if this player does commit, so we can talk more about it, not in code. And again, I hate doing this. It's bad journalism. It's, we know who it is. We got to tease you. We can't say who it is. I don't like doing that, but it's just kind of the way it works sometimes with getting information. But it is a player that started, as I said, 17 or 18 games last year. Watching the film, it is, the points per game, the rebounds per game won't jump off the page to people. The trolls will say, this guy averaged 3 points a game or whatever it was. But you look at the situation, you look at what his role would be here. I think they could certainly lose somebody like that. Derek is asking, what are the chances somebody else hits the portal, Jay? 50%, 85%. I think there's not a lot of other options. You basically got, Mo Silla, Kobe Young. I mean, look at bench guys. I'm just listing the bench. RJ Keene, Jace Whiting. I mean, I think the only guy we expect that would even have a chance probably is Mo Silla. And again, his situation is unique, so I don't think any of the other guys are going anywhere. So I think it's either, in my opinion, Mo Silla or nobody else.
I'm right there with you. I'm above 50% that it happens.
Above 50. I'm probably with you in the end.
Yeah.
No, I mean, unless they expect market improvement from him, but no offense to Mo Silla, but there probably is somebody out there in the portal that could help you more than he could.
Yeah. It's so tough, man. The portal is such a fluid situation. I mean, who thought that Stephen Ashworth from Utah State would all of a sudden wind up in the transfer portal?
If they didn't have Roddy Anderson already on the roster, I think they may have made a phone call there.
Yeah.
Tim Durden.
There's still a chance. I mean,
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe there's still a chance. I don't know, but that's one of those things, man. That the transfer portal is interesting. You want to move fast, but you don't know how fast you want to move at times. And I think Boise State's been perfectly calculated, and they know what they want. They know what they need. Not just in terms of ability, but in terms of character and fits, and that's a huge thing for Boise State. That being said, man, I was so impressed watching Stephen Ashworth down at the Mountain West Conference tournament and the command he had on his teammates. And it was he is the prototypical guy that you hate him if you have to play against him, but you love him if he's on your team.
No doubt. I think it's good. Again, the roster building is exciting. Jay, go get the birthday girl. Go get the birthday girl here. I'll thank a couple of sponsors real quick. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Check them out if you're looking for a new dentist, full family dentistry. Friend Dr. Miner does a great job, makes it an enjoyable experience to go to the dentist. 5 locations in the Treasure Valley. Find one near you at BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance, 229-8222. Quick call to Brandon. His staff could save you hundreds of dollars on your business insurance. Check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. They write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. You will not be disappointed with the work you get. We're happy clients of United Commercial Insurance, and you can too, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidley's.com. They got 13 locations in the state of Idaho, all across the Northwest. ShopRidley's.com. Find one near you and go download that Ridley's app. The Ridley's app can get you exclusive savings up to 40%. Bauscher Real Estate, the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Check them out. No home is too big or too small for Matt Bauscher and his team. 243-8222, BauscherRealEstate.com. And I know the weather's going to finally start to warm up here. Get out to Timberstone. I'll be out there some this spring. Hope to see you out there. PlayTimberstone.com. You can book that tee time, schedule a lesson with Tad and Kelly and this company out there do a tremendous job. It's worth every second of the drive. One of the best courses in the valley, the best course in the valley, in my opinion, Timberstone Golf Course. Check them out. PlayTimberstone.com. Here we go. Our special guest.
Hi.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. You say thank you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
2.
No, how old are you now? Huh? How old are you now? Are you 3? Oh, here we go. Oh, are you 3? You got to show them. 1, 2, 3. There, 1, 2, 3.
Go.
So you were 3. What'd you have for breakfast?
I had a pancake.
What would it have on it?
I had whipped cream and sprinkles.
Okay, and then what's going on tomorrow? What kind of birthday are you gonna have?
Super.
An Elsa birthday.
There we go.
An Elsa
That was
birthday.
the first time in her life that she answered 3 when you said, "How old are you?" Maybe so.
Right?
It took her a second
Yeah,
to
big
get
time.
it there, but
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Can you tell everybody to have a good day?
Have a good day.
Look at me. Tell 'em, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Well, hey, thank you so much. You have a good day too, and not going to be an only child for long. That's cool.
Nope.
The Tust family adding to the roster there here in a couple of months. So I think we congratulated you that back when you announced it, but if not, congratulations again, man. And be nice to Dad today, okay?
Right?
Be nice
Yeah, we
to
were
Dad.
nice to her. She's got this little computer here. She calls it her podcast because she sees me in here
There we go.
with my version of this.
The ratings
so.
would probably be much better on that podcast.
It probably would be. but we crush ABCs, don't we? Yeah.
Hey, happy birthday. Hope it's a great, fun day for the Tust family today. And we'll be down with some interviews later today at Boise State. Spring game tomorrow. Luckily, we can talk about the birthday and not the loss in my coaching debut last night. So we'll just move right past that. But have a great day, everybody. We're a family show here. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. Big day in the Tust household today. 3rd birthday. Pretty cool. So I hope everybody has a great Friday. We'll get the interviews up today. Jonah Dalmas, I believe, is talking. James Ferguson Reynolds. Mason Hutton, the long snapper, I think will make his media debut today. So we'll get all those up on the YouTube channel. They'll have full coverage as well, obviously. I just realized that I have this going the whole show where it said 95.3 the ticket. I think the whole show, I never changed it from last year. You're now an employee of 95.3 the ticket, apparently.
That's
wow.
messed up. I would never want to work with Johnny. Crater, I'm cool with.
I don't know
Johnny,
what's worse.
no.
I don't know what it's worse that I did it for 30 minutes or neither one of us noticed. But sorry about that. I don't know what that was. I was just
all good.
Wow. All right. Well, have a great Friday, everybody. Watch KTVB tonight for some Boise State football coverage, and we'll talk to you later. Spring game tomorrow. We'll see you at the James afterwards for the post-game show. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.